Hello, everybody. Well, yes, I first of all thank you all for being here. It's great, and we've been looking forward to this event. And I will talk a little bit about how to execute open innovation and draw on my experiences from biohacking and also my current job as a management consultant. And I have this here. And I have summarized this into 5 principles and focusing on actually how to execute on and accelerating it and make it go faster. And, oh, there I have too many things in my hand. I'll get rid of this. So my hashtag, Twitter. And besides being here, member of REBBLS, I also co-founded Biohacking, so it's a biohacker space, a bit like what Peter told about in Amsterdam. We have one here in Copenhagen, Frederiksberg. It was founded in 2010. And this is where I work. My background is in biological engineering. I have a master from DTU. I also have a master in interaction design. Currently, I work as a management consultant, but before that, I was working with bringing in biotechnology into art, architecture, and design, and kind of combine this and basically facilitating project management, which is what I'm still doing. So quickly, definition. I think Peter covered well, but sharing knowledge. Biohacking is about sharing knowledge and tools needed to work with and understand biology. And it's quite broad. I'll just expand a bit on some of the projects that we have made and some other projects. First of all, this is the lab we have here in Copenhagen in a basement in Frederiksberg. After this is a really clean day. Now it's completely filled up with equipment or crap or whatever. Yeah, so build your own PCR machines. I think I'll skip this because you know what we can use it for. But I mean, we could easily run that in our lab. This I collaborated on, so building the first DIY gene gun, a pressure gun to shoot gold particles into whatever you want to genetic engineer. This is one of the recent workshops within Biohacking. So using vagina fluid to inoculate into yogurt to really kind of highlight this relationship that we have with the microbes that is on us, or in us, and around us, and how we relate to that. And also currently I'm in a research in Dansehallen between dancers, choreographers, me, and stage artists. And basically what we're trying to do there is as well, okay, so can the dancers with their body sense and use that as a biological tool to understand things that we haven't even thought of yet with the tools that we are applying in science. So kind of the electronics, what can this microbe, brain, body, dance relation tell us? So that's kind of opening that up is what I'm really fascinated about. This is pretty recent, this is 2 weeks ago. This is grinders, so kind of a subgroup of biohackers. They implemented LEDs under their skin. Cannot be recommended, I'm pretty sure. But I mean, if you think it's fun, go ahead. So there is this fascination of fear, right? I mean, this is fantastic connectivity, knowledge sharing can bring us somewhere, but also so companies are sitting and thinking, okay, we cannot. This is far beyond what we can think of and reflect on, and we fear that we are being that we will end up in some kind of Twitter shitstorm and we'll never get our brand cleared again. So the aim of this presentation is really to encourage you, give courage, and I hope that it will enable you to take a first step a little bit easier. Okay, so principle 1, have high integrity and be sharp on your vision and passion. So these girls, it's a photo from Roskilde Festival 2013, and these girls set up a workshop to reverse engineer sex toys at the makerspace at the festival. And actually the festival called it up a few days before and said, we removed it from the program. Too many people were asking for it. We cannot have the festival turn into a sex toy festival. So I mean, the impact you can have if you kind of have a passion and go for it. I mean, this is the first time they ever played around with electronics, and they basically, I mean, they owned it. That was amazing to see. So basically, it's not different in companies. So there is no such thing as strategy and execution. It's the same thing. So have that in mind and try to execute on that vision and that passion Because that is strategy, and that is basically how you should perceive this and take that first step. So that's really the point. Second, there is a human being behind everything. So what language are you using? When you're talking about the market, what is the market? Is this monster that comes and eats you? Is it, I cannot do anything. We're waiting for the market to make a decision. But I mean, okay, and so pay attention to the language you're using. And that's also what inspires me in all these different realms that I'm collaborating and working. And have this human-centered design principle. Do interviews, co-create, work visually. We are visual beings. We are physical beings, use prototypes, understand what product you're working with. I mean, this is not rocket science. And also keep it simple when you document. So translate all that data you have into some simple design patterns, metaphors, or key insights. And that is also where it's extremely rewarding collaborating with artists and designers, because they nail the point and get one photo that just tells tons of data. And you need that when you are in this knowledge loop to go from one stage to the next stage. And the faster you can get more people in to understand how you got from this data into the next step and can get that going, the better. So keep it simple and translate it into metaphors. Or use a map. I mean, really simple too. Keep it visual, keep it simple. Okay, principle 3, transparency. Unleash the power of the individual. So share and open your work process. I mean, you want people to communicate faster. So here are some guidelines from the hackerspace movement. You need some real-time chat function, Facebook, chat, whatever. You need a place to have discussions, and you need a place to document your discussions when you come up with something. Okay, external communication. Make sure you have a website, a newsletter, an overview of projects. So this is really basic, but when I collaborate with companies and they said, we want to make open innovation, okay, I say, okay, let's make a website. Oh, no, we don't want to make a website. Okay, how do we want to get new people in on board on this project then? So that's, okay, because you want to show who the people are and you want to make these people talk. So everyone should be able to see who's there, put the contact info on so external people can contact you. It's pretty simple, but it's really, really essential. Yeah, help people help you. 4, how to differentiate when no IP or when you are in an open source project. So I have 3 key takeaways that I'm always encountering as an option or potential when working open source or when working in an uncertain IP area. So make sure your quality is just kick-ass, because then they want your product. End of story. 1. Make sure or focus on a really, really specific subgroup, preferably someone locally that you have a relation to, and then external partners will never be able to give that local group what you can give them. And lastly, safety and health. I mean, okay, we can maybe crowdfunding or crowdsource antibiotic discovery, but who's going to produce it? Because there needs some kind of safety and health around it. And that's business, even though that everything around it is completely known to everyone. So there are definitely businesses and opportunities. So that's kind of the 3 as I see it. Quality, design, and safety. And the 5th, you want to have an agile team. So keep speed and energy in your project. And this is another kind of a doctrine from the hackerspace open source movement. Do as decide. So if it takes less than 2 minutes to do it now. If it takes less than 2 minutes, it's probably gonna pretty easy to change back if people don't like it. And if there are no objections to things you suggest in 48 hours in that open group of communication you're having, well, then probably no one minds, so do it. And in the worst case, you will have to wait a week until the next meeting. So make sure you have a week with your team every meeting, every week or every second week. And this is kind of classical project management in an agile world, or Scrum, and in that area, if anybody's familiar with that. So I would like to summarize these 5. So integrity and vision, make sure you have it. That's really essential on your first step. There is a human being behind everything. Make sure you get that their problem. You need to think all the way back to that. and then keep everything transparent or as transparent as possible. If not external, then definitely internally. And these three key differentiators I mentioned, and then make sure that things are happening fast and keeping up with the energy. Otherwise, you will not progress. Okay, and my experience is that if you have the right team and you follow these guidelines, you can develop a new concept or make a new innovation in one day, basically. And forget about the stage gate model. I mean, you develop the concept, look at the stage gate model, and you can say, okay, we are past these already, because we basically nailed it, because we've been training and practicing, and we've been doing this for a long time. So another thing that I encounter is that the companies that we're working with, they would like to do open innovation, and they see it, okay, now we do an open innovation project for 2 months, and then we're done with it, right? Then, of course, it follows. Then it will come by itself, and really make sure you have that continuous work group, because they will learn the methodology, they will learn, they will be trained, and then you can do this in one day. So keep the process. I think that was what I have to say. You're far ahead of time. Well, I should go back. I just want to mention that I brought some swag, some stickers from some of the open source projects, and also a flyer from one of the services that I'm running. So this is basically an open innovation offer that we are implementing. We call it Build a Business in 90 days. So during 3 months, we will implement the open innovation capabilities within companies. Yes, so go for it. That's what I had. Maybe questions. I have 3 more minutes.